Oh yeah, I forgot that is back there. It's not on the front; it's on the back.
Yeah,
it's crazy, right?
They've got like fresh bagels and they do some push and
That place was there.
It's pretty good.
All right, Mayor, we're ready to go. All right. So the smaller the class, the better, because that means we can ask more specific questions, and I actually like that because I think a lot of you guys who do this kind of stuff, selling on eBay is like, it's definitely a skill acquired over many years, and then it changes all the time. So it'll be good for us. And Brian's here. Brian is, how long have you been doing eBay for?
With cards or in
just general?
In general? Probably like 5-6 years.
How about you, Alan? You ever done sold anything on eBay?
I used to buy stuff a while back. I haven't sold anything on eBay, so
okay.
Interested.
This is good. Yeah. How about you, David?
I used to buy and sell a lot years ago, and then I stopped and got back on about a year ago.
Okay. And TJ?
I was like, no, I've only bought everything off of there and never sold anything on it.
Okay. So we're 100% here because I think it's 1 out of every 2 people in America bought or sold something on eBay.
Wow.
That's pretty wild, right? To think about, like, in general, the world we live in, like e-commerce and like how eBay has had its place. Came out like 96 or something like that. So yeah, well, I'm ready. We good? So thanks guys for coming out. This is our second class of this whole like Meelypops 101 thing, and we want to just simply, I don't think Alan was here last time, but I don't think you guys were.
No.
So just real basically, the whole purpose and premise behind doing this is to just help our customers navigate the hobby. And if I can pass on some information to anybody that I've learned in the last 10, 15 years and how we run the shop, and I can help you guys, that's what I want to do. I think it's also helpful that when you do topics like selling on eBay, you may not sell a lot, but you may be a buyer and you can understand the other side of the equation sometimes. We probably could do a whole class on buying on eBay, which I might save for the summer or something like that, because it's a whole other animal. And where we've come now with buying on eBay, Brian can tell you as well, it's a wild, wild west in terms of buying on eBay. So we'll get into that a little bit tonight as well. But all right, so I thought before we start, since you guys all came out, nobody else is here. Brian, you can't answer these questions.
Oh.
I know it's facts for packs is what I'm calling this. All right. So we got 3 guys here. Got a couple facts that I want. You might have seen it. I pulled it up accidentally.
It's on their sheet.
It's on their sheet, right? Oh, that's right. I printed it all, so you guys will win it already. No, there's stuff I have later. Okay, so that's the ones that I put on the sheet. So you guys can see that one, second one. It says the top 5 leading online marketplaces visited by internet users in Q4. This was a 2018 stat. eBay was 20% of that. So in the entire United States, 19.7%. Amazon obviously is the mecca, 56.1%. But Walmart, Target, and Etsy, which people do attribute a lot to, especially Walmart and Target, were not anywhere near combined for eBay. So kind of gives you an understanding of a fifth of the market share for online marketplace shopping, which I think is helpful to understand. I was just pulling up these facts earlier. So there's 1 billion listings on eBay. There's over 1 billion actually. That was in 2018. There's only 1.2 or 1.3 billion listings on eBay right now. So to understand the vastness of what eBay is, it's a massive ocean of listings. So you might have a little eBay store and think you're carving out your little sector with 2,000 or 400 or 100, but there's 1.3 billion. Another thing that I thought was actually very important is the demographic for buyers on eBay, which is 35-year-old people to 64-year-old people make up 61% of the eBay buying audience. That's important to understand because I think sometimes when we do eBay, we think only young people. I hear that a lot from people when they're selling is, how do I reach the young people? Well, that's less than 39%, and you're not even considering anybody older than 65. So I know there's some 65 and older people who definitely know how to use eBay. So in terms of just considering that, the market trend really is to a Generation X, a millennial, older millennial, Generation X, and then what's after Generation X? Baby boomers?
Baby boomers.
Right. So that's the market audience. Boomers! That's the market audience for eBay. Okay? And so when we consider that, and we consider what we're selling to, don't undercut yourself if you think you're not keeping up with the trends. We could probably do a whole other talk about selling cards or how the card place is impacted on Facebook, how it's impacted the hobby on Instagram and other mediums as well. We won't even do that tonight, but I think for the most part, this kind of helps you understand. If you're selling on eBay, you're reaching an audience that probably isn't that hard that you think you should be able to reach, which has really changed how I looked at eBay a lot over the last maybe 2 years. I'll show you our store and we'll go into some tidbits in that, but I want this to be an open forum. Please ask questions. Stop me if you have any questions. And I think you're watching Instagram if people have questions too. So, okay. So I thought we would try and do 5 topics tonight. All right. Last week we did 4 topics, or last one we did 4 topics on PSA and Beckett. So I thought we'd be a little bit more ambitious and do 5. So why should I sell cards on eBay? First topic we'll talk about. Second one is understanding the fee structure and expectations when you're selling cards on eBay. 3, we're gonna pick apart some listings that I have and what makes a good listing, and that's actually pretty intense to understand what makes a good listing. And then 4, I get this question all the time: should I sell my cards as an auction or should I sell it as a buy it now? Okay. And then 5, eBay Mobile, which I hooked up our Apple TV, and I'd like to try and screencast from my phone, and we'll just do it from my phone so I can show you why that's important. So do you guys, does everybody in here have the eBay app on their phone? If you don't, you guys have it on? Okay, so you've navigated a little bit and you've used it. The stat is very deceptive on it, so we'll get to it later. But I've read anywhere from 42, 45% to upwards of 70 and 75% of all eBay sales are done on mobile. If it's on the upper end of that, which I tend to believe it probably is, okay? If it is on the upper end of that, the mobile platform has got to become something we really take into account and understand. So we'll get to that dynamic of how to sell as well, which is very important. So let's see who's coming in. Oh yeah, come on in, baby. Look at, what's up, man? Come on in. Have you guys ever bought or sold something on eBay? I know Mikey has.
Yeah, Michael has.
Quick story about that is his son pulled the Aaron Donald Pulsar Top Chrome Refractor on his birthday, right? Out of a birthday
I
pack.
had a $5 birthday.
How old is Mikey?
He just turned 8.
He's 8. Okay. And we took it to the National. We graded it for him. Of course, he got a 9.5, so it's a gem mint now. Then he got it back and he sold it on eBay, right?
Yeah, I sold it for $300, but after the fees and everything, we had to tell him how much he got.
And so now he comes in the store and he's like, I got eBay money. He
Yeah,
tells
I
me.
got eBay money.
And so we're creating a generation of 8-year-olds who have eBay money, which is pretty awesome. All right. So since we didn't do any packs or facts, I think we have 5. So you guys can take one and pass it on. How about that? Okay, cool. Now take a look. You got some basketball and baseball and football in there. Okay, so I know Alan and TJ haven't. David has. Matt and Thomas, have you guys ever sold? You've obviously sold something on eBay with Mikey's card.
Yeah.
All right. How about you, Matt? Matt, have you ever sold anything on eBay?
I've never sold anything.
Never
I've
sold
bought a
anything.
couple things.
Okay, you bought though. All right, cool. So we got kind of an interesting mix here. This is good. All right. So why sell cards on eBay? Well, the obvious answer is to make money, right? There are 182 million eBay accounts. I think that's just for, but that's the worldwide. That's worldwide. But out of that 182 million accounts, 70% of the traffic of eBay comes from the United States. So that's important to understand. eBay really isn't a worldwide market as people think it is. It is really a domestic market. So 70% of the traffic of all those accounts is coming from our country, which is great news because when we ship, we hate shipping internationally. Which Brian loves shipping internationally.
Global shipping program.
Yeah, we'll talk
to Kentucky.
We'll talk about the global shipping program in a little bit. Has anybody ever heard the term when you're trading with somebody, or Thomas, you've been to some trade days. You guys got the cards out, you're looking at stuff together. You and Brian are looking at cards. Brian's trying to beat you up on a deal.
You look it up on eBay.
And then what does he say? What's the Beckett value of that? Is that what he says?
No.
What do you say, Brian?
What's the eBay comp?
What's the eBay comp? That's the more sophisticated way. Or eBay sale value, right? What's the sale value of that card? You may have heard that before. Sale value. Or what's the eBay on that? So the sale value is pretty much a way that we can look up a card, find out what it's sold for, it's been trending at. You guys free open time. What it's trending at, and then determine that. So I thought what I would do tonight, just really quickly, is show you a couple ways to understand sale value. We'll do it quick. We won't take too much time on this. Can you guys all see the TV okay? You alright?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, cool. Alright. What should we look at first? Matthew's here, so we'll pick on the Oakland Raiders. Derek Carr, 2014. What do you want to look up, Brian? Prism? National Treasures? Contenders.
I wonder which one's worth more, is Chrome or Prism?
Let's look up Topps Chrome. Top's chrome. And I'll look up the refractor because I like that. Alright, so it's just very basic card. We'll see it. Alright, there's a purple one. Ooh, it's 37 minutes. Somebody can bid on that if they want. There's a green one. There's a base. Oh, that's the black refractor. Okay, so we obviously know when we're looking up stuff, we simply go over here to the left and scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. There it is. Sold items. So you can look at everything through a sold item. You guys able to see that okay or no? Is there a big glare or are you good? Okay. So we can see what things are selling for. There's the very basic of eBay sale value right here, right? Now, I always encourage people to pay attention to this up here. So when you look at stuff that's selling, you can always look at the auctions versus the buy it nows, or you can look at all of the data streamed together. So I'm looking here at auctions because auctions to me, number one, will be a real value. It's not a buy it now value, which sometimes can be crossed out because they've been taken an offer on. It's very tricky to understand that. We won't go into too much of that tonight because of time stake. But if you want some things to look up, cardsnoop.com is a great resource. I've been using that quite regularly to get best offer real sale data metrics, as well as PWCC Marketplace. They have a tool if you sign up for an account with their thing that you can look at sales trends for the last 15, 20 years for free. And that's actually a really unique thing there. So, there we go, Matthew. 9.5 gem mint, baby. Derek Carr is only getting 26 right now.
Those Comp C auctions.
Look at that, and that's a ComC auction. That's a little feed in for next month. We're gonna talk ComC. All right, so we understand that, right? We can kind of see the cards, but the other thing that's interesting about when you look at cards like this, look at all the variations of the cards that there are, right? So let's narrow it a little bit. Let's go look at pink. Because I saw a few pinks. All right, so when we look at these things and we're understanding the value of something, why is that important? Because when we want to sell it, right? We don't want to list something way too high or list something way too low. All right, so this one sold for $14.99 in an auction. Let's go back here to all listings. Give it a second. Working on Brian's computer here.
How far back does it usually go? Like
Yeah.
How many months does
Great question. Who knows the answer?
90 days.
90 days.
10 days ago?
So eBay sale metrics, they only go back 90 days. For some reason, let me see it. Alright, let's do it again. Alright, so we went from 6 to 9, so there's actually 9 results. Okay, we can see $14.99. There's the auto. Ooh, nice. PSA 10, $350. There's a 9.5, $33.99. 61 for a PSA 10. 46 for a BGS 10. That's wild, right? A PSA 10 sold for more than a BGS 10 on that one.
Comp C.
Roxy, right? We won't talk about shilling, but that's something we could get to another night. So you get the idea, right? There's a quick way to look at sale value. Now, some of this doesn't make sense to me when I just glance at it, and I didn't come up with anything other than a Derek Carr. I didn't research this, but this is where the world of buying and selling is kind of getting a little wild. So in my mind, a BGS 9.5 should sell for less than a PSA 10, which should sell for less than a BGS 10. But for some reason, that BGS 10 is only getting $46 compared to PSA 10, which got 61. Could that be a market thing? Is that an outlier? To me, as I see more and more of these trends on eBay, I'm starting to think it's fictitious bidding. You know, what people would call shill bidding. Have you heard that term before? Shill bids. That's where people who may have sent into a consignor, props team, have not got the price they wanted, and they've just gone on and bid their card up. And they know that when it's time to pay, they can just say to so-and-so consignor, I'm not saying prop team is just there's more other ones that do consignment, hey, relist that, I bid it up. And that's a very readily accepted practice now. I hate that, and I think it's destroying the eBay community and it's destroying eBay sale values. That's happening left and right now. So people shilling, bidding up their auctions, happening all the time.
So does that also benefit other people trying to sell the card?
You would think it would, right?
Right.
But like, let's say now you go sell your BGS or your PSA 10.
Right.
It's probably not going to get an accurate representation of bids, so it might get $30 or $40, and you're going to be like, why did I get 30% less than that, right? It's not going to make sense to you. So you got to kind of start to pay attention to sale data metrics when you're looking at how to list a card. So, question, if you had a PSA 10 and you wanted to sell a Derek Carr PSA 10 Topps Chrome, there's a comp. Is it real? I don't know, but I would probably put it around that price, and I would probably, if I were selling a card like that, put it at maybe best offer to see what kind of offers I would get on it. Why? Well, Derek Carr's not so hot. No offense, Matthew. It's not football season, right? And Tom Brady might be there in 2 months, right? So I don't know if that's gonna happen or not.
Las Vegas odds on that?
Yeah, but you want to at least have something out there that's close to market. If you put that card up there and you put it for $300, are you gonna give me offers? No, it's gonna just sit there forever. If you put it for $20, it'll be bought up like that. So just kind of understanding metrics when you go on list cards. That was a very basic example tonight.
And what's the ability to look at cards that aren't there within the 90 days? So if you went to see comps from
That
say,
PWCC I was telling you about, that's a great resource. I don't think Card Snoop or
30 point? No.
130 point doesn't pull that far back. PWCC is great, but the problem with PWCC is when you pull buy it now data, like a best offer. Let's say you offered $100 for a $200 card on PWCC, it will still say $200. So that's not the true comp of it. There are things that you can subscribe to, something called Worth Point. There's something called TerraPeak. If you're a eBay seller, you have access to that. I'm not a big fan.
I don't think TerraPeak really
It's
shows, does it?
yeah, they're very protective of their data, TJ. So they don't like to share it. And a lot of the sites that I used to use, Sorts of was one of them. They've been shut down. So I don't know if it's illegal or not. I don't know that whole world of data and all that, but I would start messing around with the sites and learning a little bit about how to pull some of the data. And I'd be happy to sit down with you sometime and show you too.
Would it make sense to list that like $61 and just see if someone bites on it because
Sure.
they see the previous one sold for
You could.
61 and
Yeah, or $60. Yeah.
60, yeah.
No, I'm not saying that that's what that sale value is. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me when I see those two things, because a BGS 10 is probably pretty superior to a PSA 10.
It's a bad title.
Which one?
BGS 10.
What do you say? What do you think's wrong with that title?
They didn't put it was numbered.
So that's a great point, Brian put. So there's a qualifier, there's a metric in there that's missing, right? Also, I think, check out the first 4 characters, right? Derek Carr's not in that. So I'm going to teach you guys tonight when we get to the listings part. The first 4 characters of eBay listing are the most important in your listing title. So it's this pristine BGS 10 2014. If we chop that off, that probably pulls up a ton of things for their metrics. So, well, since we're there, most important characters, most important things to a listing are the first 4 characters of your title. You always want to have the player name in there, and you want to have 2 features of the card that are most important. For me, for this card, it would be. Here, you tell me what you think, and I'll tell you what I think.
What would I
If you were to list it, what would you put? First 4.
Derek Carr, pink, BGS 10.
So you have
Rookie?
Derek Carr, pink, BGS.
Is it Derek Carr?
Yes, rookie.
What?
Derek Carr, rookie, pink.
Okay, that's what I would put.
Refractor, BGS 10.
I would either put
Pristine.
rookie pink or I would put rookie refractor. Yeah. Those first four characters, supposedly, this is what I've learned. Algorithm for eBay, those kind of things, they pull from those metrics. Another thing that I would put in here is also the team. If I could possibly fit the Raiders in there, I think that also helps the metrics as well. But you never want to miss some of these things here, which is very important here, which I didn't catch.
eBay 101.
That's eBay 101. I didn't realize that. So this card is numbered 001. I missed that. So this is the first print run of the card. So I do think that card might have a premium over this one now that I pay a little bit more attention to it. So that Derek card was numbered 001 out of 399. So maybe that did have a little bit more premium. So maybe that is right data on that. So a true PSA 10 would probably get $45, $40.
Would it matter if you just put Derek, or if somebody was searching for Derek Carr, you had Derek Pink, rookie, BGS 7?
I would always put it in what makes logical sense. So I'd put Derek Carr initially. Always have the player name in your first 4 characters. Always. Very, very important. And then if this was autographed, I would have put Derek Carr pink auto or rookie auto as my first 4, because auto is actually a very, very important thing. Since we're on that, let me show you one quick thing here. Alright, Derek Carr 2014 tops. Let's just look up pink. Show you a couple things here. Okay, auto, which is short for autograph, right? There's 2 data right there. So we have a BGS 9.5 and a PSA 10. Now, there's 2 other metrics that are very important here. December 2nd and February 8th. That's 3 months apart. That's very, very important. Now, $350 seems like a lot of money on that card when I see a 9.5 only getting that much. But let me show you something really quick. We'll see if this is.
Then also when you send the watchers, it comes up as full best offer sold.
Say again?
When you send the watcher thing, it comes up as full value best offer sold. It doesn't show slash out.
Right, because this could have been a best offer, you think?
They could have sent it to someone for 200 and they took it.
Yeah.
eBay still shows a full 350 on it.
Right. You guys are, I guess, familiar with best offers?
No.
Okay, we'll get to that later. Alright, cool. So you see what I just did? I put the word autograph, not auto. And look what happened. It's not coming up in the search. So this is actually extremely important, and Brian and I talk about this a lot, is the difference in how you manage your search criteria. So if someone searched for autograph, they wouldn't find that card. But if they search for auto, they would find that card as a sold listing.
And would auto pull up autograph?
So no.
Oh.
So in some of our listings, do you do this now too with your listings or no? With auto and autograph?
Not really.
So
If I have the room.
if you have the room, if you can fit them both in there, put them both in, because you're gonna capture more people that way. The word auto and the word autograph don't pull the same. It's very interesting to think about that. eBay used to do that, but now I think things are changing.
What about rookie and RC?
No, it definitely won't be. Yeah,
But which one would you prefer?
I'd always try and put the word rookie.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you can fit RC, it's only
That
two.
one's with RC and
Yeah.
I always kind of alternate RC, rookie auto, RC.
No, they're great questions because you want to capture as much as you possibly can in the search, right? Okay. Okay, cool. So, questions on that stuff. We'll get into some of the more specifics about that in a little bit. But questions on like just the idea of sale value. Does that make sense? Should you, after today, you'll be able to get some eBay comps to battle Brian when he wants to make a trade with you.
I think half the battle is trying to decide when to sell the card.
Okay. So
And-
timing is important in life and everything, right?
Yeah.
So would you sell football cards right now?
No, it's not football season.
Not football season. Would you buy football cards right now?
Possibly.
Yeah, maybe, right? Get some GR card deals, right? What might sell well right now?
Basketball.
Okay, basketball.
Baseball season's coming up.
Baseball is just about to start. Baseball's starting to pick up. What about basketball would you might sell? Let's think about just what has happened.
The All-Stars.
All-Star game just happened, right? LeBron James had a lot of press recently because of just things with Kobe. Giannis has a lot of press. Trae Young hit this big half-court shot. I know for me specifically, I sold a Trae Young for more than I ever thought I would. PSA 10 Prism just recently, all because he made that shot. Doesn't necessarily mean much about him as a player, but I think that's why, because he had some hype from that and people bought his rookie cards.
So I can sell Trae Young?
Yeah, you pulled a Trae Young. Look at that. Look at that. Pulling a Trae Young. So there you go. Dope. So timing is so important.
Porter Jr.
You trade Michael Porter Jr. for Trae Young. I'll have to talk to you, TJ, about that. So let's talk a little bit about the fee structure, and then we'll get into these listings because the listings are a little bit more technical. Okay. All right. So let's talk about fees. So when you sell on eBay, well, I like to use the $100. Sell a $100 card on eBay in your account. All right. TJ makes some money. How much money do you get out of that, TJ? Let's say you charge for shipping. Don't worry about free shipping or anything like that. But let's say you sold a card for $100. How much will you probably get?
I have no estimated clue, but I'm gonna hope I pull $95.
And I would hope for you to pull $95 too. I would hope that you could get 5% fees on eBay.
More like 78 bucks.
So it's 10, standard is 10, right?
Around that, yeah. And now there's different fee structures, and we can get into all that in a little bit. But you have to deal with not just eBay
PayPal.
and PayPal, because as of a year ago, they are two separate companies. So they're no longer even conjoined. There used to be some things that you could get away with, but they're two separate companies now. So the eBay, selling some on eBay, typically through PayPal, is about 3%, and it for
Plus a
eBay,
Plus a quarter.
and eBay is about 10%. So you're netting about 87% on average. So if you sell a car for $100, typically you get about $87 from PayPal.
And most people are using PayPal.
Most people are using a form of PayPal, or they have a card directly linked into eBay. But that's that's a whole thing that eBay navigates, right?
So it's not a good decision to say no PayPal over 3%.
No, you're gonna still get charged the
Yeah, well.
fee structure, yeah. Because they're gonna use your credit card, they're gonna charge you 3%
Charge
charge.
me 3%. All right.
Yeah. Can't get around it, man. I wish you could. All right, so that's a good rule of thumb. In your mind, 13%. Okay. We're not talking about Amazon tonight, but Amazon they read me. I get charged about 23% on Amazon, but we won't talk about Amazon tonight.
So that percentage is based off of what you sell, not a flat rate?
There's a cap to it. I don't have the exact metrics, and you can look it up. It's very easy. I think it's 500 or 1,000,
Whoa.
the minimum they can take, or maximum they can take.
Yeah, there's a max on it.
Yeah, we're not that high
Yeah.
roller.
Yeah,
kind
but
of
I'm
sell.
just saying,
Yeah,
yeah. When you
so
sell $5 cards, you're only getting $3.70, and
Yeah.
same way. Okay.
So the tricky thing about eBay when you're selling low-end cards is the time you put into it. Okay, so if you are selling a card and you charge $3 to ship, right? That $3 or $3.50 or $4 is going to go all to this the postage, the time it takes, the gas it takes, the supplies, the hard case, the sleeve, all that stuff. You don't really make money on shipping. I mean, you don't. I mean, you can't in the car world make money on that model is gone. People, if you charge too much, they're not going to buy from you. So be fair on your shipping prices. Are we still at 3?
So for shipping in California, it's about $305,
Right.
and for shipping like closer, it's usually like $275.
But that doesn't account for the supplies.
That's just
That's
shipping
postage
alone.
part, yeah.
Just
That's
postage.
with a discount that we get through eBay. So we've kept ours at 3. We're losing a little bit of money sometimes. Maybe it's a bad. Maybe we should make it 325 or whatever.
Around 350 flat.
350. Brian gets his money. He don't like to play
I like
around.
the bison sign.
Yeah.
I'm not losing 10 cents.
That's right. He's fiscally responsible. So when you're selling on eBay, you have to kind of keep that in mind. That's a super important fee structure.
But do free shipping ones tend to get better bids because they say, oh, it's not going to cost me
So I have
anything.
the stat down here. Let me read it to you. 71% of eBay sales have free shipping assigned to them. 71%.
I don't think that applies in the card community
But
as much.
it's different because cards are like, I want to say they're like 50th in their sales rank for eBay. Number 1 is electronics, by the way, on eBay. Free shipping. I think people who buy cards know they have to pay shipping, specifically under $100, I would think. When you get to higher stuff, you can start throwing free shipping in there. It's usually not a big deal. But shipping is a massive, massive, thing that you need to be charging for when you do it. We don't have a whole thing planned to teach about shipping. Reason why we've been successful, Meredith's kind of run our shipping through the store, and when we had all the stuff in our house and we were doing out of our house, she ran all that. If you have questions about shipping, Meredith can help you about a lot of that. We brought up a thing earlier called eBay Global Shipping Sales Manager, I think it's called, something like that, right?
eBay Global Shipping Program.
eBay Global Shipping Program, which allows you to select it on your listings when you list a card, and you can sell internationally. It's actually pretty good. The way it works, so you guys understand how it works, is if Boris buys your Trey Young in Serbia or in Ukraine or somewhere, he has to pay eBay, I think it's like $16, $17 based on his location and customs and fees and taxes. He pays that to eBay. eBay then gives you a shipping address to Erlanger, Kentucky. You ship it to Erlanger, Kentucky, and it has a special code attached to it. And then they ship it from there to Boris in Ukraine. It's a great program, but it's super expensive. And you may get people who will message you sometimes. I don't know if you guys have ever gotten this.
Yeah.
Hey, will you change your eBay Global Shipping so I can pay less? I don't mess with it because, to be honest, when you start getting lower end cards and you're shipping internationally, you lose stuff left and right, and people can make claims left and right. It's very difficult. So that's my 10 cents on it. You could also, if you want to ship and take the risk, feel free. But I would recommend using the eBay.
After they get it in Kentucky, it's eBay and Boris's. So if they lose it when it's going to Ukraine, then Boris sticks it up with eBay, not with you.
Which is nice.
I'd rather that.
Yeah. Have you earned that already?
No, I would rather have that where
Right,
I
a
said
middleman.
Kentucky than
ComC, which we're going to talk about next month, is actually a great tool. They actually have a mailbox program for international people. And I just got tied in with a group called Ship My Cards. They're a great couple out of the Northeast somewhere. And they handle like 100 to 200 packages a week for international card buyers, mainly buyers in Asia who buy basketball. And they ship to them in all over the world. So there are some kind of intricacies to it all, but international shipping can be tricky. Okay. Does anybody know about this Seller Hub tool? Because I think this is. Do you have access to this, Brian? The Seller Hub when you go to your eBay store.
Yeah.
You do. Okay. So on your eBay accounts, I think you can elect for this. It's called the eBay Seller Hub. And what it does is it allows you to kind of the tasks that you have. We have one open offer. We have a return request. That's a whole other crazy story I'll tell you guys about. Print labels and ship, and we can do all it from there. It can tell you your pending orders, people you need to give feedback to. It can tell you your trends, your listing types. You can set this up. This is one of my favorite areas. You can block people, which I love blocking people. If you guys ever need a list, I'll give you my list of people who to block. And then this is a unique tool called the seller level. So there is discounts applied to eBay. So that 10% I was telling you about earlier can be marked down to about 7%. So you can save another 3 to 4, depending on how well you do. I think for us, it was worth it. But now Meredith just is so great about it. She keeps on top of it always. That's why we have these kind of metrics. This is where you have to ship an item within 1 business day. This is where the tracking has to be uploaded within 24 hours. This is where it has to be received within a time frame, and it's all calculated. You can always check that too. Has anyone ever seen that? Have you ever checked your eBay seller? You can do this. You can go and have you checked yours before?
Yeah.
So you go and you can do it a couple different ways. That's one way, but the easiest way I think is to go to your feedback up here. Just click on your feedback, and I think it's called Seller Dashboard. You click on that, yep, and then it'll take you to this, and it'll tell you where you're kind of at. If you ever wanted to esteem to be a top-rated seller, you can get better discounts on it. They give you a little bit more to save you per month. But it has to do with like defect rate, late shipment rates. It does all these other things. I'm not going to go in all this tonight, but something kind of to work towards if you want to get serious about it. It will save you money. Okay. Feedback. So people have lofty expectations of you if you start selling on eBay. They think that once they send you their money, that in 20 or 30 minutes, you're on your computer printing a shipping label, stuffing that card in a pouch to send to them, and you put peanuts and nice little pillows inside, and the card's going to be protected, and they're going to get it tomorrow. It's just the world we live in. People expect things like this. I don't know how we've been able to do it. It's probably just been a lot of prayer, right? Getting through this where we've been able to maintain 100%. We're almost at 10,000, and that's actually something that I think we kind of pride ourselves on is getting that amount of feedback to stay that way. It's okay if you have 1s in here and 2s in here. It's not a big deal. Don't freak out. There are actually even ways to negotiate with somebody. If you do get a negative or a neutral, you can always message them. They can actually revise their feedback. A lot of people don't know that. You can have a revision of feedback. You get a set amount per year, but you can get your feedback revised. I don't pay a lot of attention to this, but what do you guys do? When you look at an account and you see maybe some negatives in there, neutrals, does that bother you? What do you guys think?
I read them.
All right, so you look and go see what it's about. All right. What do you think, David?
If it's just 1 or 2, no.
Yeah.
Just like anything else.
Sure.
There's always someone who's going to complain.
There's always someone, right? How about you, Tom?
Don't really look at it.
Don't really look at it. If this total number up here is low, like let's say this is under 100, okay, and you're starting to see some kind of marks and ticks and things, I would kind of be a little bit suspicious. But to be honest, most people on eBay aren't trying to screw you over. I mean, it just isn't that way. I don't see that from a lot of sellers. Now, on the flip side, the buying side, I could give you a whole bunch of stuff that I'm starting to notice on the buying side and to beware of because we're starting to see this a lot. For example, you got a card listed. David Biddle's got a Muhammad Ali autograph listed, and it's up there, and somebody clicks and says, I want to buy it. They make an offer for $150. You got it for $175. David says, all right, I'll make the deal. Accept offer. 2 days roll around, 3 days roll around, 4 days roll around, 5 days roll around. There's no money, right? Hasn't paid you. You get a message. Hey, David, I spent too much this month. Can you cancel my transaction? All right. So what goes through your mind, Dave, when you hear that? Has this happened to you before?
It has happened to one that I accepted an offer on a cheap card, $4 card.
Yeah.
Guy just never paid.
Yeah.
Never paid.
Yeah.
Like, I messaged him. Finally I said, you got till tomorrow, I'm going to relist it.
Yeah.
And never got a response.
And didn't care. He actually probably was happy, right?
Because you didn't open a case.
It was an offer. He sent me an offer for it.
Yeah, and he actually sent you the offer. So this is happening more and more, and the reason why it's happening is because there's no punishment or consequence to the buyer to do this. Here's my biggest pet peeve, which I see a lot. Super Bowl weekend came up. I really didn't try and put any Mahomes stuff up or Garoppolo stuff up for a reason. People will buy those cards prior to the weekend, and then if they don't win the Super Bowl, they just don't pay. This happens all the time. You'll see it in the NBA playoffs as well. You'll see it with baseball all the time. People are hot, then they get a little cool off, and then people just don't pay. So what do? For me, as a seller, it bothers me a lot. I don't leave negative feedback. You can't leave negative feedback even if you wanted to. But there's something called an unpaid item case where you can open. It's very simple to do. If I can show you guys how to do it really quick.
Gators up 16, by the way.
Oh, nice. Coming strong on after that win on Saturday. We're playing
Arkansas.
Arkansas. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, anytime, dude. I love it.
Is Arkansas good at any sports?
Yeah, they're third in the SEC, or no, they're second.
They're good.
Yeah, they're decent at
Yeah.
basketball.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not too bad.
And the
beat.
confidence.
We need some confidence, man. All right, so here's some things that have. These were. Oh, I sold an Aaron Hernandez, guys. There you go. Aaron Hernandez got 65 for it.
Is that when the Netflix thing released?
Dude, I'm telling you, Aaron Hernandez sold like crazy. All right, here's a good one. So, this sold today, right, Meredith?
Yeah.
Grady.
Yeah.
All right, so we don't have anything in here that's considered over 3 or 4 days. But if there is, you can click on this little link here, and there will be something that says open and unpaid item kits. That's the best thing to do. You click on it, and eBay sends them a thing that says if you don't pay, you will get an unpaid item, yada yada yada. And if people get 3 or 4 of these in a time period, they are suspended and they have these kind of repercussions. So that's the only thing I tell people to do. Don't be malicious. Just simply do it. Had a guy today buy a card, said I need to cancel it. I said, why? You just offered for me like literally an hour ago. Oh, well, I don't have any money now. It's just like, so, you can do whatever you want. You can relist it, but here's the thing you have to be careful about, David. In that case, if you didn't go through that process, what happens if you paid for that card and you had
I
it
didn't
up,
know that was there.
and if you had that, and if you had listed it and someone else had bought it, now you have someone who bought it, and that other person paid for it, rightfully so, that you didn't actually
Well, I
close
went
the
through
loop.
and canceled the order.
Okay, that's okay. And then did you cancel it by buyer? Because they give you
That I don't remember.
This is another important part. When you cancel orders, you should always put buyer cancel if they did that, if they requested it. Because if you don't, cancellations go against your seller metrics, and they hurt
Okay.
you. They harm you as a seller too.
Okay.
So you don't want to be canceling.
Yeah,
a
I
lot
didn't
of-
know that.
So that's something that you can do. I don't have one to show you guys, but just a basic thing to do. Okay. Does anybody know what a zebra printer is?
Yeah.
We'll click on the fees into it. So
Yeah.
when you sell the card, when do you know to ship it based on receiving the money, getting a notification? How do you know you ship it and now they deny it? How does all that work and prepare the restructuring and paying?
Yeah, so let's take a step back. In the last year, eBay has gotten very stringent on new accounts. So for you two who have an open account, you might actually see some very harsh restrictions on you actually getting the money. So
So we've got open accounts. So if I'm a user since 2003,
yeah, so you already so you had an account and you have a PayPal link.
yes.
I think you'll be okay. I
It's
think
okay.
you'll be okay. How about you?
When I reopened, when I started one up last year, because my one was so old, I hadn't used it for years.
Yeah.
It was inactive. I started up a new one. Like it was the first 10 or 15 things I sold. The payment was on hold for like 14 days for each thing.
So that I don't understand why they're doing this, right? So they're starting to put holds on the payments that you guys receive for a card, and they don't release the funds until it's been delivered to that person. It's a new kind of metric they have for new sellers. Unfortunately, they're limiting also the amount of things you can sell. Andrew Hoop in our group, Hoopard, he had a limitation of 5 or 10 listings per month. He's like, why can't I sell more cards? And they put him on a limitation all because it was a new account. So you might find some restrictions, TJ, if you haven't done it in a while, that are a little to me they're unfair, especially for someone who's been around forever doing it. So that kind of stinks. All right, to go to your second part of your question, you sell something on eBay, it'll show up, it'll say sold in your notifications, yada yada. You can print a shipping label through eBay, or you can go to the post office and do your own thing. I strongly recommend getting to the point where you print labels because it auto generates the tracking number into your listing. I'll just show you really quick. So here's some stuff that were paid and shipped just recently. And we printed it off a little label printer that we had. Oh. So someone bought a Ryan Newman autograph I had last time.
That's wrong.
And that's so wrong. Alright, so Meredith shipped it out today, and she shipped it, she printed it through eBay, she did her little thing, and it auto-uploaded that tracking. We don't have to do anything else. It's done. If you took it to the post office, got them to pay for your little thing, you have to upload that to there in order to keep tracking current. This is another step you have to do. And I used to do it that way, and I would always miss numbers. So then people get, screwy with it. You miss your whatever, or you miss one, or you add another one, or whatever.
So you're printing from eBay? You're
Yeah.
printing those things from eBay?
Yeah, let's see. Do we have any?
Can you print it on a piece of paper and then just...
Yeah,
put it
you
on
could
there
do that.
something?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And that's what we used to do for the longest time.
I have the cards pulled if you wanted to print one.
Yeah, I mean, here's a print label and ship right here. We're not gonna print the whole thing, but for us, I think you guys should have something similar to this. We'll use Aaron Hernandez as a guinea pig. We're talking about him.
They paid for that Ryan Newman?
They did. Yeah, they did. I'll get it sent back to you. Probably.
Yeah, they're gonna send it back.
Nice.
He's alive.
He lived.
Is that
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that
Because
crazy?
if he can't
So-
sign
You
into
start talking today. You push the car back.
I know, right? Isn't that crazy? Have you any of you guys seen this?
I haven't seen it.
Okay. Okay. All right. So probably shouldn't do because the guy's name is on there, but we'll scroll down here. You get down, you put all that metrics in, and you purchase the label print. It's usually 276 to 305 for first class, and it will give you a little thing to print, and then you can print it on a inkjet, or you could use a little label printer. If you get serious about it, I would recommend the label printer. It will change your life. It's super easy.
That takes from your
PayPal.
your PayPal account. Okay.
Oh, so you pay through eBay.
And you get a discount. Yeah, you get a little bit of a discount.
Ah.
You saved 109. So it's helpful to do it that way. If you want, you can even add text to your label. So that's our SKU number. That's what we have in the back. But you could write on there if you wanted. Who was it? Ryan Newman. You could put RN. So now you know when you go to pull it. That's that Ryan Newman card I had, or whatever, right? For you guys that are selling.
You don't want to put the actual person's name on it. Though.
Yeah, I never put Kobe Bryant one autograph there or something like that. Right? Never write that down. Speaking of that, one of our close friends, the prison night we had. Jimmy, did you hear about it? He just got his one-of-one Zion RJ Barrett stolen through UPS. It went to Daytona, right?
Yep.
To a guy somewhere in Florida, and then it just vanished.
Never left the Daytona
And
facility.
he said that in the thing that for some reason they didn't write, what was it? Family.
He said they usually write heirloom on it, but instead they wrote basketball card valued at $6,500.
Like on top of the package.
Yeah.
So
So there's an investigation going on, but crazy, right?
I don't know if I wrote that on there.
Well, he didn't write it on there. They did.
Oh, they did,
UPS did, yeah. So just be kind of careful. I always say just try and I know you're almost like you feel paranoid, but just be careful in the mail when you ship things. Even though you ship things with a tracking number and you even get it scanned at the place and you're ready to go, things can still go missing and you can still get screwed out of cards and people can still say, I didn't get my card, I want a refund. That happens a lot. If you ever want to know, or maybe even afterwards, Meredith can show you how she packs a package, and I think it's pretty good what we come up with. We use old junk base cards as fillers to press on each side of the card, and then we use packing peanut or two, and we've never really had a problem with it in the 30,000 packages we've sent.
Have you ever had an issue where you sold a card, even with the tracking number, and they say they didn't get it?
Yeah, but
then
with
what?
that, eBay protects you on that side of it. Because if it says it's delivered through the tracking,
Then you're fine. You don't have to worry.
what else can you do?
Yeah, because people are dishonest.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And now if it doesn't say delivered, I guess there could be a problem, but that's really with the postal service. And so when people have come to me and said that, I said, I really wish I could help you, but package is delivered. Please talk to your local post office or something.
And then
like that.
that's
So I try and do. Sometimes I get people that continue on that. They leave me negative feedback, yada, 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 or whatever. And I just petition eBay and they're taking care of it.
okay.
But yeah, it can be kind of wild. So, all right. Does that make sense? This little thing, how to purchase and print. I think it's pretty easy to do. So, okay. I think that's about it. Fee structures, expectations. You know, when you buy a car on eBay, what is your expectation? That you get it shipped in a timely manner and that it doesn't get damaged, right? And I think that's probably 95% of people who buy and sell on eBay. There is a contingent of people who are now using eBay as a grading safeguard. And what I mean by that is that return shipping that I had was a guy who bought some Pokemon cards from us, and we sent them to him. They came directly factory out of these boxes because I knew there was promos. We put it was like a sack of 10. And he sent it back to me, and I haven't even looked at the package yet, but he said, well, these aren't all PSA 10 gem mints, and I'm a PSA collector. That was his return reason. I mean, that's not what a raw card is. But we're getting to a level now where people are buying, and if the card doesn't look like gem mint to them, they'll just send it back to you. I think it's getting kind of wild and crazy. I have moved a lot of my eBay selling off of eBay, and I do a lot for other mediums, but I do still have a lot on there. Just something to think about as you sell cards. If you have a card that has some sort of nick or ding or something, I would try and disclose it in the listing if you can. Let them know, because if not, you're probably gonna have to deal with a return, and it's a whole time suck, right? That you don't want to deal with. So
if they get the card, they don't like it, and they want to return it, how does eBay say you don't have to pay them back, though, right? I mean, how does that work?
So it's a great question. So
You provided them, they accepted it, now they don't like it. That's their own loss, right?
No. I
It's
wish.
It's like
I wish.
driving a car off a lot. And go, no,
I
don't
wish.
car
I totally.
anymore.
I mean, I 100% wish it was that way. Okay, so first things
Yeah.
first. If you're doing the top rated thing and you're really pushing for it, you have to have returns offered in your listings. So if you ever want to do that and try and get a discount, you have to have returns offered in your listings. If you don't have returns offered in your listings, you could never get a top rated or whatever. So it is kind of a catch-22. If you say no returns, TJ, like I'm gonna sell that Trey Young, I want to get $50 for that card I just blew out his packet at the Meelypops 101 night, and the guy says I'll give you $50. You send it to him, and you have no returns listed in your thing. The buyer can still say the quarter was dinged and damaged and open up what's called a PayPal case against you. Resolution, what do they call them?
Yeah.
Resolution case or something like that. If they open up a case against you, you're kind of at the whim of PayPal, and they can send it back to you. And they can say I want money back. They could even damage the card and swap it out. I've seen this happen many times. And you could say, this is not the card I got. You follow your thing with PayPal, and it's actually up to a third party to decide if they deduct that money from your account or they don't do that. Have you had it happen to you? Okay. I've had it happen many times where people just, I get a different card back, they damage a card or whatever.
Actually, at one time, RCR I sent it between cardboard, and then they said they wanted a return, and they showed it in like a triangle teepee. I'm like, how does that happen?
They just created some TP out of your card. I think we're dwelling on maybe the anomaly of eBay. I'm seeing more of it. I'm just going to give you that as a heads up. I'm seeing more of that, and unfortunately, we have to deal with it. But that's kind of the world we live in with buying and selling consumer. Okay, let's talk about listings. Before we get to listings, let's talk about auction versus buy it now, because I think that'd be better. Number 4. So, what are the options? Okay, so what is an auction on eBay? An auction on eBay is when you put up a card at a certain time to end within a time frame, right? Auctions have a different search criteria. They appear differently in algorithms, and it seems like you gain more watchers on auctions. You guys know what a watcher is, by the way? A watcher is someone who literally clicks on a listing and says, I want to watch this item until it ends, and they'll get a notification of when 24 hours before the auction ends or the item ends.
15 minutes.
And 15 minutes, you can set all those parameters up. So auctions seem to generate more visual attention. That's how eBay was created. It was an auction website, right? If you guys remember '96, a bunch of auctions, right? But now eBay has the buy it now option and the buy it now best offer, or BIN or BINBO. I've heard that before, BINBO, right?
What's bimbo?
Buy it now best offer.
Bimbo?
BINBO, like a bimbo, but BINBO.
Bimbo.
Buy it now, best offer.
Oh.
There you go. Good job, Brian. So they have these offers, right? These are options where people can offer. All right. So you start an auction and you want to create an offer on your auction. This is a way to lose money very quickly. If you start an auction at 99 cents and you put a best offer on it for $50, first bid that goes into that auction eradicates your best offer. So never do an auction with a
You're
buy.
also putting a cap on what your auction could go to.
Right. Like if you start, let's say you had $100. Let's say the Derek car, you want to sell it for $60. You can start an auction at $40 and a best offer option on it, but don't start at 99 cents with a best offer option on it. It's not going to do anything for you. Let's talk about. Let's have a discussion about it. What kind of cards do you think would do well at auction versus what kind of cards do you think would do well buy it now best offer?
I mean, something that's active, hot right now,
Okay.
that would be an auction one because it's there's so many people looking for that card, right?
So let's talk about Zion. It's pretty hot right now. So Zion Prism base rookie card, there's a ton of them. Would you auction that or best offer that? TJ, what do you think? Let's just say the base Prism rookie card, the base one.
Well, I guess
Not graded.
I mean, I guess everybody knows what they're going for, so what's the point of putting on an auction? Nobody's gonna blow that auction to the roof, right?
Could.
It still happens.
But it does still happen. Also, how many Zions do you think are on eBay? What if there's 700 of that same card listed as a best offer on eBay? There's only 50 on auction or 100 on auction.
You may get that auction cheaper than what they've got them all listed.
Could be cheaper, could be more. All right. So those are good points. When do you think you should end an auction?
When they have like 7 and 9 days, right?
No. What time of the day do you think?
7?
Seven?
I'll say like middle of the day though.
You say middle of the day?
A time when a lot of people are on.
Nope, you want it late.
I would think.
How late?
About 10 or 11. That's when you're in your office. You're looking.
I love these answers because they're all over the place. It's great. I'm learning from you guys. What do you think,
Well, I
Matt?
know we're supposed to look for cards that are ending at like 1 or 2 in the morning, and then then buy them then because people aren't watching them.
Or 4 or 5 in the morning.
Or 4 or 5 in the
Yeah. That's when you're. But that's East Coast time.
Yeah. You know, the evening time after everybody's off of work. You know.
East Coast, right? So what time is that? What time do you think?
So that's like.
East Coast, like midnight.
Midnight? It's pretty late. You're a youngin.
I'm saying.
I said 7 or 8. I mean.
Between 9 and 10 p.m. before people go to bed.
Okay.
So that's still. That's 8 o'clock. That's 8 o'clock Mountain Range, and then you go back another 4 more hours. So.
It's funny you're laughing. I think about all this stuff all the time. We haven't figured out the exact science. What do you say?
I think the best is between 9:30 and 11 on a Sunday evening.
That's what Brian says. We've tinkered with it all different ways. I think sometimes that's great. I think sometimes holidays are smart to end things on. I think I've been burned and I've won on holidays, like Christmas Eve, not New Year's, but like certain holidays, Thanksgiving, July 4th, when people are off, paying more attention to actually end it on that. Sunday night typically is what people think. Problem with Sunday night is a lot of people end auctions on Sunday night. So Saturday night is actually one of the biggest nights for people, and you wouldn't think that, but Saturday night and Monday night are big nights. I've heard some metrics about Friday nights. I don't know if there's an answer to it. I've heard all sorts of different things. When we run auctions for the store, we typically end them on a Sunday or Monday night, between the hours of 9:30 to 11, like Brian said.
And what do you mean by getting burned? So if you put an auction out there and they don't meet your auction minimum, do you still have to sell the cards?
So if you put a reserve price on an auction, you're going to lose a ton of potential possibilities.
And then they charge you a ton of money.
Yeah, I'd never put a reserve. I mean, if it's something that's super important to you and you don't want to lose money, put it as a buy it now. Don't mess with auctions.
So, but when you're auctioning, what do you usually start your price at?
For me,
What is the most popular one to catch the eyes of
it's
people?
99 cents.
99 cents.
Yeah. Now, when you know the metrics of a card, like their card, you know if you start at 99 cents, you're not going to get 99 cents for that card. Even if you ended at a horrible time, you're going to get $5 or $10 for the card. Right. But if you ended at the right time, you'll probably get that $40 or $50 that you want on the card. How long should you run an auction for?
Would you start an auction at 80% of what you think the estimated value is?
I always start at 99 cents.
Do you every single one?
Everything that we run in our store.
I think that putting it at higher scares people away.
And you lose watchers.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So, okay, you scares people away. You lose watchers because, think about it. If you see that Derek Carr that you really want for 99 cents, aren't you going to watch it? Versus it being $42.73, that's probably where it sells. I don't want to watch it anymore. So that's kind of an idea. You don't want to lose $1. There is fee structures. You save more money if you do under 99 cents as well. So eBay does promote that. I think you're not going to really lose out. I think there's so many people on. We saw all the users, right? If you're selling the right cards, you're never going to really lose out. Now, what I have learned is don't sell cards that won't sell on an auction. There's a lot of times people think, oh, I got this 87 Barry Bonds. Okay, that's not going to sell on an auction. If it's a PSA 10, maybe people want that. But a raw card or some of these cards that there's hundreds of thousands of, they really don't sell on auctions. It's cards that are hot or cards that are really short printed. Now we use a Zion, for example, the Prism card, right? I'd say, honestly, either way is a good way to sell a Zion Prism right now. Auction or buy it now. What would you do?
If I had a Zion base,
Raw Prism.
I grade it.
No, I'm not. That's not an option, Brian.
I would. What'd the last one go for?
I don't know.
Just depends. So many variables.
Okay, well, just think through your head. What would you do if you didn't know those answers?
I would probably 99 cents.
Okay, because you want it to get money.
10 on buy it now, and I want to get my money now.
Okay, and how long would you run an auction for?
7 days.
Okay, I think that's smart. 5 to 7 days is smart to run an
You could
auction.
do something really good, and then it could go up too. It'd say 3 days into the auction or something.
Let's say Zion plays, I don't know when they play the Lakers. Let's say you have a bunch of Zions. You end on the night that he plays LeBron. That's not a bad idea. It's a risk. He could suck, right? Or he might look really good and his stuff sell for a crap ton of money. So you have to start thinking about events, timing of when you start listing auctions as well. The more you put into it, the more it's going to help you. Another thing I've learned is the item specifics. So before you could just list the title, put a picture, and you're done. Now that eBay makes you put item specifics, it's not a beer, don't worry.
I popped up.
Meredith is just slugging them in the back.
Hiding the good stuff in the
Mary, that was funny. We can't hear what you opened, which is funny.
Truly back there. It's knocking
That's
down.
yeah. What happens in the backroom stays in the backroom. No, there it is.
It's a nice koozie you got.
That's
Bud
funny.
Light.
Yeah. Why are you wobbling?
A
No.
little bit of rum in there.
So as we think about all this, right, with cards, you want to get the most value for your. And me and Brian are good tools for that. Ask us if you're stuck, if you don't really get it. You can pay attention to when we list auctions in our store. Right? I do them probably every 2 weeks on average. You can see the kind of stuff we list. Do I make mistakes sometimes and put cards up for 99 cents and they don't even sell for 99 cents? Yeah. For the most part, we're getting something out of the cards that we sell. So it is what it is.
Why do people list cards at like $250,000 that are never going to sell?
Like buy it now.
Just like
Attention, one. Watchers, because they want watchers. And then the longer it's up there, the longer I think the psychology behind it is people start to think, oh wow, it's listed for $250,000. When really there's no sale data to justify that, right? Some of the Zions sell crazy, right, when they first came out. Sold for a lot of money.
Like the first raw prism.
Well, the very first ones, they sold though, right?
Yeah, $1,200 you paid.
Yeah, the raw prism sold for $1,200, the very first Zion that came out. So that's another thing. Releases of products, always trying to sell very quickly. Like let's say what was that? Say you hit a big card in a break, and the product came out today.
So for instance, like the crowns that you just did,
Yeah.
that just hit, you get a signed Jason Terry Mavericks card. That's not going to sell at an auction.
No.
You're looking for
Not even the
live-
first one to sell, right?
Right. So you're looking for if you got the Crown Zion,
Sure.
which you got like 20 on the first box you opened.
Would
you just put them all on there and
Might
look for
not be a bad
Base
idea.
cards?
all the ones that he hit on? Like
He's
the
talking
first
about
thing,
the Crown.
crowns that you opened. And
Yeah.
the first box was all. The second one was all RJ Barrett's. Would you just put all 20 of them
Oh, I think
on
you're
there?
talking Revolution.
Revolution.
Yeah,
Was it
Revolution.
Revolution ones?
Yeah. No, it's a great idea. And in that case, because the product was so new, I would have auctioned them at 3 days, not 5 days or 7 days, or maybe even 1 day, because I want the stuff to sell immediately as some of the first to sell. The reason why that's important is that Revolution card, whatever it sold for those first 2 days and 3 days, is not what that card is selling for now, right? So if you do get those cards, it's very important to try and sell that stuff quickly as well.
eBay also charges you $1 for 1 day and 3 day auctions.
Yeah.
$1 per listing.
But it's worth it, of course, if it's something you're.
If you're gonna get the money for it.
And a big thing about our breaks, which I love about our store, we have breaks and we have the stuff ready to go the next day. So you hit something big, come in and get it, and if you want it, go list it. You know what I mean? Which is a huge factor in cards and in selling that stuff. So, okay, so think about events, think about timing, think about what's hot, what's not, think about news, think about stories. And then the other thing that I throw in there is thinking about international buyers. If you have cards that sell well internationally, and then at international times. I know it sounds crazy, but if you had some really sought after like basketball cards of Kobe Bryant, Yao Ming, Starberry, Zhu Kui, right? Chinese players or people that are Luka. He's getting ended at Slovenia. Is it Slovenia or he's from?
Yeah,
One of them.
Yeah, ended at times the European. If you really think,
So FIBA, right?
yeah,
right,
it
FIBA.
could be. Yeah, but for me, like Luka's such a big deal here, right? That it doesn't make a lot of sense to end on international timing. So just think about all those factors, and I'm happy to explain more of that too. Okay. eBay allows you to run 1, 3, 5, 7, and 10 day auctions. When I run common cards of good players that have been out for a couple months, I usually do 7 to 10 day auctions because I want to rack up as much eyes as I can at the 99 cents so they watch it for the whole time. If you go 10 days, sometimes you can lose a little bit, I think, especially if a product just came out and you list something. It's a big product coming out this week, Select Football. If you hit a Kyler Murray Tiger or Kyler Murray Zebra or whatever, some short print of Kyler Murray, and you list that at 10 days, that's not smart. I would list that at 1, 3, or 3 days if you want to sell it for max money. You don't want that to be on eBay for too long because you want it to be the first sold. Could you list it as a buy it now with the best offer? Sure. But what if it sits for 2 days or 3 days or 5 days or 7 days? Then you're going to lose that traction of the auction.
Because you're trying to set the comp.
You're literally trying to set the market. Yeah.
But it's a flat $1 to do the one.
Yep.
Yeah.
1 to 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then of course your fees if you sell it. 87%.
My time has ended, so I'm gonna restart the live
That's fine.
video.
Just restart it. Yeah. If you see any questions on there too, let me know. Do you get any questions, Brian, on Facebook?
Oh, no questions.
Okay, sounds good. Everybody just got it. They already know how to sell on eBay. Okay. One last thing on that, and then we'll break down our listing. Have you ever heard of promoting a listing? This is a new thing eBay does. You go to list it, and it says, would you like to promote this listing? Averages sell for more if you promote it. And don't they charge like 27 or 30%?
Yeah.
crazy amount of money. Never do it. Don't ever mess with it. Yeah. You go. So, oh, you already lost
It
it.
didn't give me the option.
It's okay. That's alright, because we're recording it. So, okay. Don't do those. Don't do promoter listings. It's not smart for the car world. I don't think it'll help you at all. Oh, bro. Did I lose it? Okay, no. Alright, so again, this seller hub, if you can access it, super helpful. The bottom right, a lot of people never pay attention to this. Sometimes they'll give you special discounts on free auction listings, 10 buy it now listings, all sorts of things, and they're all available over there that you can see and grab them. Those are very helpful. There's some discussion boards. I've used those in the past for little things that have come up. If you ever get a store, do you have a store yet? Or no?
Yeah.
Okay, if you get, what store level are you at? What do you pay? Do you know? The fiscally responsible guy doesn't know what he's paying for his store. All right, they have these different.
10 cents.
25. I think I'm one of the lower ones.
Okay. Starter, $4.95 a month.
Basic.
$21.95 a month.
Yep.
$60 a month. 300 and 3,000. I think that's what we're at. Premium. What it does is it gives you lower insertion rates for buy it now. So I think we're 8 cents or 10 cents. What do you pay for buy it now? 20 cents? 15 cents?
Well, they give you a limit. They give you a higher limit.
Oh yeah, you get it free, a set free
I've
amount.
never won
Yeah.
above it.
So you can do this, and they're actually not too bad. And if you do it, they let you have a storefront. And the reason why the storefront can be helpful is you can actually create your own little storefront and market this. So one of our guys named Zach, he helps me with images. He helped me create this. Just recently we just did this, but I can advertise on this little banner, and I can give this link right here to anybody. I can put it on a business card. I can do it. You put it on your case if you want. Give that little link up there, and so it has kind of Meelypops shop talks about it. Here's our little thing. You can contact us through Gmail. You can call us, and then you can look at all the stuff that we have for sale. So Brian was working on this last night. Here's some newly listed items. Do it this way. There you go. Got a Marilyn Monroe jersey piece. You haven't seen that? Look at that.
My kind of card.
Charlie Chaplin. Got all sorts. There's some LeBron. So again, you can just kind of organize it. A way that we do it is we have these little categories, which is nice. I think if you want to get fancy, you can. You don't have to, but this is a great way. If you do have a store on eBay and you get a little serious about it, you can market your store and tell people that, or you can link it. It's actually pretty helpful for a lot of people to find it. Because remember, there's 287,000 or something people on eBay, right?
So those were buy it nows or best offer.
So everything in our shop right now is buy it now best offer. So you could buy it right now for $92, or you can offer me something for it. You Bob Newhart. There you go. But so I do all of our listings as a buy it now best offer that I don't think will sell at auction well.
And so then if someone offers, they'll send you a submittal of an offer that say basically, I'd give you $95
Sure.
for the Marilyn Monroe one.
Yeah.
And then you'd have a decision whether to accept it or not.
Accept it or counter it. And there's a whole psychology in that too.
Now,
But
those
yeah.
items aren't out here.
So for our
Sold.
store, it's a back inventory. These are all
Yeah.
back. So everything you find on our eBay store, we actually have a website too, which has an inventory. If you ever want to get really serious about it, I can teach you about a multi-platform inventory management system we use. So for us, to help manage it, we actually list things on eBay, Amazon, and our website simultaneously through Excel. We actually don't use eBay to list. We have a unique thing. A guy's created a back channel way to do it, and I pay for his service. And then when something sells on one of those platforms, it pulls it off all the other platforms, which is really nice. But we do run auctions all the time through here too, so there's just no auctions. Usually this would be submitted. It would say auction.
What's that?
There will be this
We
week.
got some coming up. Brian helped
I'm
me.
doing it this week.
Yeah. So gotta be putting some
So
auctions.
everything in your store you're doing buy it now, then you have a separate listings for auctions.
It's not separate. It stays in the store. Yeah,
Oh,
but
okay,
the auctions,
okay.
remember, they're only 10 days, so they're only going to be up and they're
Right.
gone. So with auctions, we just literally put them up, and this number is important, I think, for people to understand. So I don't really put a lot of effort into the followers, but for these big auction houses, the people like Probstein, PWCC, ComC, their watch counts are like hundreds of thousands of people. And that's actually really important because those sellers are saved in these people's phones and on their desktops. I think that's not bad, 260, but it's not, hundreds of thousands of things that we hope to aspire to. Why is that important? When you guys list auctions and you may not have any followers, or you're just starting, you're not going to have as many eyes on it as you'd hope to, right? So there's a catch-22. Do you list on your own thing, or do you send to a consignment house, or whatever? You know what I mean? Okay. Questions about this, the store platform? At all? You get a little thing. You can create your own thing. You can upload some stuff. You can upload a bio. I don't know if that's allowed, but I've been doing it forever. But I have my email and my phone number there.
So you can put them up and take them down anytime.
What's up?
You can take them down, put them up anytime you want with the buy it nows.
Yeah.
Because it's not an auction at all. It's just.
Yeah, you can close them. You can run them for 30 days. A lot of the stuff that we run is good till canceled, so it's just an active inventory. Our eBay, I don't promote it a lot because it's not our entire inventory. We have a whole other separate inventory. But yeah, not a bad idea. Okay, let's talk about what makes a good listing. Okay. And we're almost done. And then, guys, if you have questions, seriously, feel free to ask. If you're wondering right now about all the cards that you might have, and you're like, I don't really want to take the time to list these at 99 cents and get $3. Next month will be super helpful. So come to this. We're going to talk about ComC next month. And if you don't know what that is, it's a tool and a service, and some of the nicest people that I've met. Brian's done it too. Brian has done very well for himself in 8 months on a ComC, right?
Yeah.
So I've been doing ComC for about 6 years now. Mary knows all about ComC. Anything that I would consider low end, you can do very well with ComC. You can even sell high end on there. And now what ComC has done, which is blown it out of the water, is you can send cards to them, and they will put it on their platform. And at any time you want, you can click and say, all right, send that to an auction. I want to get rid of it. Or that guy's hot, send it to an auction. And you don't have to do anything. They handle it all from their end. So they're actually becoming a pretty comprehensive service. But that's next month, so we'll talk about that. And you can learn all about ComC. How many items do you have on there?
On ComC?
Yeah.
I have 1,100 pending.
That's awesome.
And then I have like 600 now.
That's great.
Wow.
Yeah, that's great.
I've done 1,100 in sales so far.
That's awesome. Yeah. We run ours at 10,000, and I try and never go above or below that, active items. And we generate 500 to 1,000 to 2,000 a month on sales just from that, doing nothing. So something that you guys can take a lot of your, and I'll have to teach you, so come next month to learn about it, but that's kind of a plug for next month. So. Okay. All right, let's talk a little bit about what makes a good listing. All right. So this is something that I care a lot about because I think a lot of people don't pay attention to how they list items. You kind of saw a few of them already. Okay. Everybody's favorite chief. Right?
I spoke too soon.
What happened?
Losing?
36-30.
No!
You've scored 4 points since I told you the score.
Oh my gosh. Jeez.
That's par for the course for this year.
Alright, listings. What makes a good listing? I said it earlier. I think a majority of sales now are being explored by mobile platforms. Okay? So if I look on my eBay, Brian, actually, for time's sake, will you pull it up? That moves. Okay. So if you're looking to buy on a desktop, all these other elements are pretty cool. You can see all these other elements. You can go down here to card attributes. You can see my description, yada, yada, yada. All these other things that show up on the bottom. Or if you go on eBay and you find the card, it'll look like this. It'll simply be the card price, picture of the card, and then you navigate some item factors and you can click buy it now, make an offer, yada, 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 yada. In saying that, I think there's two extremely, extremely important factors to listing something on eBay. Number one is the title, and number two is the picture. Those are the two most important things, actually, that you need. You can do all the other fancy stuff. You can have a great template. You can have all this other stuff in the middle here, right? You can have all this stuff. We don't put a lot of effort into it. You can do all these fancy things. Here's our store, yada, yada. But for me, the most important thing is that this thing looks clean, looks presentable, and that this title is searchable. That's it. That's it. I think that's the key to eBay. Is if you can make your titles make sense and searchable and your pictures look good, you'll be fine. Now, the picture, honestly, isn't that great? It's not horrible.
Scan that?
That is a scan that we used from a thing we have in the back. It's called would that use on yours?
I use the Epson.
That's an Epson scanner. A couple $100, $1,500, $100 bucks. I think I paid a couple $100 for it. That was one Josh used. It's okay. It's not the best, not the worst, but at least you can see the label pretty clearly. You can see the card, and then put it in the back. And then there's the back. You got a little bit of a light thing there. Maybe Brian moved it or whatever, how it's scanned.
It's
But
a
you can
glare.
it's a glare. You can see the serial number on it, the PSA number, all that shows up. Okay. I would say I'd give that image, Brian, a B plus.
It'd be plus.
Maybe it's a B plus. It's a B plus. It's not an A. It's a B plus. But do we need A images? I think we need B plus, A minus images to do well. Okay. What I think is bad is when someone says that St. Patrick Mahomes card and they put it on a table and there's a glare and you got some contrasting background or something and they take a picture and now that's the picture they're listing the card for. I remember when that LeBron James card out of, was it a 101 EX card? Some guy had literally in his car seat, he had crumbs. The card probably would have sold for $50,000 more.
And what he just put LeBron James 1 of 1. That's all.
Yeah, and this card that sold last year. And I remember looking at it thinking, this guy thinking all about what he was doing. But I believe the image is important, and we're actually losing people who scan the back of cards. For us, it's a little bit more work, but I do think it does help for your images if you do the front and back of
I don't
cards.
know why people don't scan the back of cards, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you should.
Does it matter if the image is together? Meaning the
Like
front,
the front
and
and
back, side to side?
If you could do that, crop it that way. That's a little bit of work, isn't it? Or can you set up a scanner to do that?
Either way.
Yeah, if you do that, I think that's cool. People like that.
More fancy scanners than the one Brian's using.
Yeah.
The ability to freeze the
Higher
image
level.
and then flip over and then rescan, you know?
Take pictures of the corners because I was told you're supposed to take 6 pictures, front, back,
Who
one
told
of
you
each.
that?
Daughtries.
The arteries.
Every corner. You take a picture of every corner and you get 6 pictures and sell so much higher because they can see each corner and they feel like they've held it.
Okay. So for a raw card, maybe this is a graded card. Very objective, right?
Yeah, well, that's
PSA 10
different. That's
done.
different.
Right.
Yeah.
For a raw card, if you want to, I would say go
That's
ahead.
a lot of pictures though.
It's a lot of pictures. It's a lot of uploads. It's a lot of work. And to take pictures of that, you have to kind of get an angle. For this, it's on a machine. Scan, flip it over, scan, done. When you do listings, you don't want to spend a ton of time on it, to be honest with you. Okay, so pictures are important. If you're not scanning a card, let's say you have an object, baseball, autographed basketball, there's a thing on Amazon called Lightbox. You can buy them like $20, $30.
Actually, $10 for a
Well,
small
that one we bought was pretty crappy.
No, smaller one.
Oh, the smaller ones, the tiny ones, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're really great. You just fold them up. They have LEDs. You can take a phone, take a picture, have no glare on it. Super helpful. I wish we had one here. I put it in storage. But, can be very helpful. Even if you could do cards that way. You can put them on little stands if you wanted to. All that kind of stuff to say, if the picture looks good, it's gonna help you sell your card. Okay. And then secondarily, the listing title. All right. So here's what we got here. Patrick Mahomes, FOTL. Out of 10, Blue Wave, PSA 10, Gem Mint, 2019 Panini Spectra, SSP Pop 1. It's a lot.
Yep.
Okay.
Do I need all that?
I don't think you need all that, but I think having the things at the very end there, Thomas, like Pop 1 and SSP, help for people who are looking for really rare Patrick Mahomes cards. Okay? Have we sold the card though yet? No, it's been up for a couple, like a week. No, we just listened to this card.
Just put that.
Oh, that card just went up, yeah. So I guess we'll know in a month or so if the card sells, right? So the card's up. The name is the first 2 letters, 2 carat that we put up, and then I put FOTL out of 10. And the reason why I did that is because it's a short print card out of 10, and the FOTL first off the line, it makes this card pretty unique. It's called a Blue Wave FOTL, and it even puts it in the title there.
Is that blue?
I think it was what was called that, but I don't know if it is or not.
Now, why did you put after PSA 10? Why did you put
Gem
Gem
Mint?
Mint? It's already says it in the picture.
It's a great question. What if someone searches BGS? They want a Gem Mint card, but they're thinking in their mind Beckett, because a Beckett is a 9.5, right? So let's just say someone who doesn't know a lot about cards searches Patrick Mahomes Gem Mint, right? And they're thinking 9.5. Well, now my card is going to show up in that pop or in that search as well. That's one reason why. I didn't put the Chiefs in there. I thought the Chiefs is the one thing if we could have fit that in there, it would help a lot. If you put a team in there, you don't need to put Kansas City Chiefs or KC Chiefs. Just literally put the team mascot. I've seen that is very helpful in search criteria.
So FOTL means basically this is the first version of this card that's out there on the
Oh
screen.
no, it's a FOTL is a special box. So people know when they look for this kind of card, they're looking for FOTL. SSP, what's that mean?
Super short print.
Super short print. It's out of 10, right? There's only 10 on this card. But people sometimes will search SSP Patrick Mahomes. Okay.
And it's the only one because it's the top one.
So if you've got a 10, you want to put the SSP.
It can help, or SP, just short print. Those are very small characters that
And
can
then
help.
so if somebody's typing in that in, it flags that your card, so it'll pop up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Under how many is short print?
Um,
Out of what?
It's not really a rule, right? I think short print is just a title people use for something limited.
So anything that's numbered could be a short print.
I wouldn't say that.
Out of 999.
No,
The 90s cards that were out of 25,000 and stuff like that.
So and one more question.
Yeah, this is
So
great.
It's out of 10.
Yeah.
So why didn't you tell them what number out of 10 it was?
I don't know if that's important. A lot of people are putting those in. To me, if I put 4 out of 10, does it really matter? Like, I mean, someone can look at it. To me, it doesn't. Now, if it was his jersey number, and it was 15 of 20, I would definitely put that, and I would put jersey number somehow in there if I could, because that would help.
So if it was like 1 or
If it was
jersey
1,
number,
yeah, if it was 1 or even 10 of 10, I might put it, right? I mean, last of the run. Definitely the first of the run and the jersey number are always smart to put if you can, if you have those kind of cards. So, okay, so I mean, honestly, for me as a person selling cards all the time, the images look good and the title makes sense. Could you phrase the title differently? Could you try different metrics? Yeah, absolutely. This is not a rocket science where Jameel knows how to only fly the rocket. There's different ways to fly the rocket. So that's how I would do it. You'll learn a lot the more you spend time listing cards. But first 4 characters, and always have their full name if you can. You definitely want to have a feature of the card if it's out of a number, if it's an autograph. The one thing that we didn't talk about is this set number is number 1. Now, for this, it's not that important. The card is number 1 on the back. But if we had the Zion Williamson card, I would definitely include that set number because people will search Prism, Zion, number, yada, yada, yada. 248. There you go. You know it.
John's 249.
So if you do it that way, that also will help, I think, with set numbers. Now, if you got a set number that says rookie autograph RA-PM, don't put that in. No one's going to search that. But if it has a card number that actually makes sense, like out of a Prism set or a Topps Chrome set or a Top set or a your Trae Young card, TJ, perfect card to put the card number. Don't miss that. And on that card, definitely put rated rookie. See how it has rated rookie on it?
Right.
Doesn't say rookie.
Does it matter?
Yeah. No. Alright, so TJ White's got this next to TJ White for some reason. I don't know.
And I got a Michael Porter Jr. too.
Oh, no, we're not passing. So Trae Young, okay, it's a Donruss card. It's a base Donruss card. How would we list this? What do you guys think? It's number 198. It's Donruss. It's the base rookie card.
So Trae Young,
Okay.
rated rookie,
Okay.
/ out of whatever.
It's not numbered.
Oh, it's not numbered?
Yep.
Alright.
Rated rookie.
And the number of the card.
Hawks. Yeah.
Don Rose.
Donruss. 2018-19.
So would you put the date?
You
Cause I
have
noticed you didn't put the date of the run on yours. You just put first off the line. So you didn't like put 2019 or 20.
Right there,
or
it's at the
something.
end.
Oh,
2019
okay.
Canadian Spectre. It's already,
I'm going
yeah.
blind.
Always put the year. So 2019, 18, 19, Donruss. What else would you add to this?
Trae Young rated rookie. Panini.
We're
Saying
already
what you're
past
saying.
that.
He's just saying what you're
2019, number 198 RC Hawks.
There you go. RC would be good to add to it. Hawks, AT. You can put Atlanta if you want. You don't have to write it out.
E and RC.
Well, why-
Yeah, I would fill all of the metrics out that you can if you can fit
Have
enough
space put in.
Yeah. Space. RC is a great one for this. Rookie card. Sometimes in baseball cards, people like to search Aaron Judge rookie card. I don't know why, but they'll do that. So the word card actually sometimes makes sense. Show this to everybody online. That's how you list Trae Young.
That's a good ComC card, Alex.
Is it worth rating it? Auction it?
I don't know. That card's probably not worth auctioning, but that card may be worth ComCing, or that card may be worth
Bulk PSA.
grading in a bulk PSA. PSA 10 of that's probably worth $30, $35, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, look what you picked up from the store today. More decisions.
Yeah, right.
So-
Thanks.
All right, we'll do one more, and we'll be done with listings, and then I'll just show you the mobile, and we'll be done. All right, let's go.
Percy's on that tab.
Oh, was he already up there?
Yeah.
That Percy Harvin.
Where's the Mahomes?
Oh, it's
Is Mahomes on the internet?
I think this is all the internet, bro.
No, look, you're on Chrome. You know what I mean?
Internet
See
Explorer
what I
is what he's saying.
Internet Explorer.
Oh, I don't think I opened it on internet. Did I? Oh yeah, I did.
There's the hard person.
Okay.
He only knows card lingo, Brian.
I know.
Okay?
I don't know what the heck you're talking about, Brian.
He doesn't
That
understand
big blue
technology.
E, you just gotta say that out, you know?
Alright, let's take a look at this image. What do you guys think?
Whoever scanned that did a great job.
What Brian doesn't know is I recropped this for tonight so I could show you guys. I had to go over his work. No, it looks good. It looks really good. So again, you have a little glare. Not a big deal. I don't think people care about it. They know it's a glare. It's a scan glare. But what's important, you see the card, you can see the autograph, and you can see what's very important is the Beckett label. You can read that. Okay, so you can see the subgrades clear. Another big thing people forget is like they'll take pictures of their phone and you can't even see the subgrades on the card. People want to see that. They want to see what the subgrades are. They look at it, they can see that, and they can see the back of the card. They can read it. Again, B+, A-, is not the best image, but it's not bad. It's definitely, I think, fair and pretty good. So you can see the slab. It doesn't look like it's cracked. There's no scratches on the slab. People are looking for that, and you know what the card is. You can see the serial number right there. Yada yada yada. All right. I was able to see that better. Sorry. Okay, Percy Harvin, rookie auto out of 250 BGS 9 autograph 10 press pass 2019. Gators Vikings, $42.99. Buy it now. What do you guys do? You like that listing? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad?
Change autograph to auto.
But
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Gotcha.
So I did put the word auto and autograph in there. You notice how we put Gators and Vikings in there. Two most favorite team probably he's from. Make sure we put what it was numbered out of. Rookie auto is those first four. We put the brand press pass 2009 the year. Should we have put power pick autographs because that's the subset? Maybe, but if you put that, you're gonna have to take out probably autograph and probably Vikings. So for me, it's kind of a decision you make how you want to list the card.
Now, why would you put Vikings on there if it has nothing to do with Vikings?
It's not about, but he played with, yeah, but
But the card has nothing to do with Vikings.
it's exactly right. So it doesn't look like anything. Could I put Florida Gators? Maybe.
It's like putting Zion Duke when
Sure.
I'm opposite of saying because you have
Maybe
two
find
cards
someone that likes
put Pelicans on there, right?
But you could do Zion. I wouldn't put what are the Blue Devils, right? I probably wouldn't put Blue
I
Devils.
put Duke.
I would put the word Duke. It's 4 letters. It's short, but it's also another qualifier that you can find in search criteria. And you would put Pelicans. You would put New Orleans Pelicans. Just Pelicans. Reason why is these plays are both of them, and he had a big Vikings following. So same thing with Zion, vice versa. I would do both of those if you can.
Like if it was like an Emmett card and he was in his Gator uniform, you would
Sure.
put
Gators, Cowboys.
Gators and Cowboys.
So, make sense? Okay, one thing I didn't talk about just really quick is when you make these listings, they ask for the condition of the card. We've been putting brand new. I don't know.
I put like new for
Like-
raw cards and
li-
brand new for
Graded.
graded cards. And sometimes when people get a raw card and you say like new, they say, "Oh, well, I bought a brand new card." And you know, they say, "Oh, there's a little scratch on it. It's not brand new," and they return it. And eBay accepts that return.
They will
So
because
if
they
you put
will.
like new, then you're not guaranteeing that it's brand new perfect card.
Okay.
So yeah, so be mindful of that when you think about when you list things. If you put everything as brand new as a raw card that's not graded, people will treat it as, oh, that should be a PSA 10 gem mint. Why are you lying to me? So I just hate that we have to think like that. It frustrates me. eBay wasn't like this at one point, but so I guess we are losing money. Shipping, so. You can see Alan, you were asking about money. PayPal people can pay different ways too. So okay. Let's leave that at that, and then Brian has some tips and tricks for you. No, I asked Brian to come up with some things. I said, Brian, think about things that maybe you've learned in the last year on eBay. And while he's doing that, I'm going to pull up the mobile just to show you. We'll do the best offer thing on the mobile.
Okay.
Okay, so we can share.
I would say the things I've learned is the best offer thing he's going to show you. That's more recent. That's helped me. I did it today, and I sold 3 cards doing that just today. I sat there for 10 minutes while I was working on the clock. And I said,
At least he's honest about it.
and I would say accurately pricing your cards, not overpricing them or underpricing them. Looking up comps using 130 point or card snoop. And
Tell it-
when to end your auctions and start your auctions.
So So Brian, talk a little bit about what Card Snoop and like how you utilize that, because like with the best offers and those kind of things on the phone versus, you know what I mean?
I use my phone for personally. I'm not on the. I mean, I'm on the computer, but when I'm buying stuff, I use my phone. Or when I'm sitting here trading, I use my phone, and I go to 130 point. That's what I use. You can use Card Snoop too. And I just type it in because I type it on eBay first, and I see that there's a best offer slashed out, and then I'll go to 130 point, type the same, copy paste the same criteria, so I get the same search results, and then it'll say 199 slashed out, and it'll say actual sold price, and it'll tell me 150. So then I know the actual sold price and have an accurate representation.
Yeah, it's called what?
130point.com.
So 130 point?
130 and then point.
Like a top loader, that's 130 point. And then Card Snoop, 130 point, PWCZ Marketplace, and Watch Count would be the four that I would say tools that you should know, like, you know, how to utilize them.
Yep.
Because the reason why you do so many of them, some of them go down. Like won't work sometimes, yeah. They'll like,
Never shorts up?
yeah, it just went down. Like I know Watch Count would just go down sometimes. So. Okay, this is screen mirroring. So this is something new. I had some listings that still require item specific, so I've been told I have to add these. This is more work that I have to do. But if you have never seen this before, this is the when you open the eBay app. This is kind of what it looks like when you start. And then that was in My eBay on the bottom. When I just went there, you can go to search, your notifications. You guys are probably familiar with this. I'll just do this for people on live. And then there's selling. Okay, so Brian just sold how many cards today? Doing this? Three. All right, so the way you do it is you go on this in your app to your active listings. And on the very top, it says sort. Okay, so we're going to sort by watchers. And out of all my items, this is the most watchers I have on items right now. I have 12 watchers on this Scottie Pippen Dunkin' Go Nuts. Like Dunkin' Donuts. I actually learned how they got sued for that. It's a pretty funny story. Fleer Skybox did. Okay. So on the very top, it says send offer. Right? I tap on that. And now, you see on the very top it says the price. It's hard to see. $190.99 is what I have it as. So I have 6 interested buyers on that. What's a good price, Brian? Don't say $30.
You got a $190.99.
It's probably a $175 card.
So you started it. You drop it down by $10.
No. You don't. So this is a one-time shot, right? Because once you send this, they can counter. But you really on this,
you can't send it again.
The reason why you do this is if you want to start moving some cards that are stale. This is the why I would do it. Is if you have cards in your store and they're not really selling. So let's say I want to throw a crazy offer out there. I'll say, I know in that card I probably have, I don't know what. So I'll just put 160 bucks. So hit review offer, and it says they're interested buyers, expires in 48 hours. There's the total. It's gonna send that offer to those 6 people that were watching that card.
And whoever responds to it first has first offer.
Gets it. Correct.
eBay sends you notifications and emails. I don't know if you've ever gotten them from there, but they'll send you notifications and emails saying that the buyer sent it to you.
Yeah.
Then they'll send it to you like again in 24 hours, and they'll send it again and say, "Hey, it's about to expire. You can buy this card for 10% off." They do the percentage, whatever it is.
Yeah. So
So what happens that expires and none of them want that for 160? Does it go back to the 199 auction?
I think it has to reset, doesn't it? For the
You can't send it to those 6 people.
you can't send those 6 people again
Ever
for
again.
30 days. No, for 30. Oh no, if they rewatch it in 30 days, you
They
can.
rewatch it, yeah.
But if they don't do it within the 48 hours, it just goes back to the auction and continues to sell in the
Yeah,
auction.
it's a buy it now, not
Oh,
it's
buy it now,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. But yeah, it's a great point. So, and you can see some stats, right? It's got 500. That's a lot of views for a card like that. 12 people are watching it. So we'll see what happens.
So if it's over 160, you get 139
After fees.
after. Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks, right? Yeah. Good old
So
eBay.
from 191 to.
So-
Why does it always charge the seller and not split party like a sell a property?
Well, now the buyers are having to pay the online sales
That's
tax,
big
so it's
sales
both
tax.
sides now,
There's
right?
no
Before this year, people weren't paying sales tax. Like somebody in Washington who buys it from me pays eBay the Washington sales tax. eBay collects that money, files it to Washington. I don't mess with it, but they still pay me
It
on
comes
top.
into your PayPal, but eBay takes it right out,
Mhm.
so you don't even notice it's gone.
Yeah. So
But when you
The
get
truth is,
1099, it'll look like it's
yeah, I mean you're thinking of things like buyer premium and stuff
Like I
like
mean,
that.
like there's 13%. They pay 7.5. You pay 6.5. You pay 6.5. You pay 6.5, and then you're both in the deal. I mean, Does that make common sense or
You
no?
need to talk to Mr. eBay about that. That's a great question. That's a
I
great
mean,
question.
you're both in investing. It's not like one person's just doing this, man.
Yeah.
But that's the way it works, man. That's the way of the world. Sorry. Selling can be tough. One thing I'll show you on the eBay app, I don't know if it comes in your eBay messages. Sometimes you'll get these things called eBay bucks, and they'll come through here for as a buyer, and they'll give you like 8% or 10%. Usually it's 1%, right?
It's usually 1%. They give you promotions they have. It could be more.
And something I've noticed is if you find out when eBay bucks are running, go do that thing that I just did, because people have these extra bucks, and they start getting, I'm getting offers. I'm going to get this for even cheaper. The truth is, you're going to still get the same amount of money you would get, but eBay's giving them extra incentive to buy. So that's something new about eBay, the Bucks program, that really people don't really think about much. But another thing too that's nice. So this is what everybody has on their phone, right? If they go to watching, these are just cards that are active that I've been watching. There's a Babe Ruth autograph cut. There's a Pokemon card. There's a pair of glasses that I bought, right? There's some Tom Brady's and different things, right? So it's good to know that, like, you're watching these
Like
things.
CJ McCollum, Jamil?
I think that, I don't know why I'm watching that card.
Is that Kyle Lowry?
Is it Kyle Lowry? That's what it should have been. That's what it should have been. And then
An
save
autograph
sellers.
you have?
Out of all of them I could have, that one. So saved items. So this is another way too. People can save searches and they'll get notifications based on a saved search. So when you list an item correctly, right, it'll show up in their saved searches too. I think there's Michael Porter. There's your boy right there on the top. I think that's about it on the phone for eBay. You have any questions about the app? No questions about it? You can actually list from your phone if you wanted to.
Do you give a list from your phone, or is that just not enough?
I do.
I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Brian's pictures on it from his phone are about a B minus though.
Well, I use your
Oh,
scanner
the scanner,
to scan my cards.
But how? When you're listening from your phone?
I scan my email to myself.
Oh, and he pulls them off. That's not a bad idea.
So I could do it when I want to.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I have on me.
So
If I
using
make sure
eBay,
time it is.
if you go to buy one and you say, like, for instance, if I were to type in this card right now, and there's no recently sold ones, or there is one there, how do you establish a comp? Even by using the other ones, it's just part of what you just would assume the cost is going to be, or kind of knowing what it would be, or
Well,
know what
that's
I'm saying, trying to put a value on it. That's what I'm trying to understand is how do I value a card to find out whether or not it should be on there or not.
Yeah, I mean, that card is specific. That's pretty easy to look up. Trey Young, rated rookie, Donis, right? So we'll just do it from the phone because it's different from the desktop. What number was it? 198. 198.
I'm going to do 198.
I'll just use 198. Okay. So I know if I look up on eBay right now from my phone that I could buy one for $6. Here, let me sort it by lowest price and shipping. And I want to change it to not auctions to buy it nows. So I know I could buy one right now on eBay for $4.99 with free shipping. It's a pretty good deal. So I almost just did this. You can see kind of the market for that. That card is a card that is a ton of.
Right.
So it's not a card you want to sell on eBay because why would you want to compete with that? I mean, look at all that. I mean, you can't even really make a few bucks off of it, right? I mean, it doesn't seem like. But for me, that's a great card to either grade or put on ComC or just maybe sell at a local show or get a consignment case or come to a trade day. People want a Trey Young rated rookie that's worth $5 to $8, right? You know what I mean? So if you want to see what they're selling for, obviously you just click sold on that. This is the way you do it on the phone. Now I've heard that the Android is different. I don't know if that's true. Anybody Android?
I do.
Is this different than what I'm?
A little, just
A
slightly.
little bit.
A little bit. Do they do this on the Android? I heard they don't.
What, the green with the slashes?
Yeah.
Everything
Mine.
discounted?
See, they don't put the slash on. Did you know that?
No.
On Android.
Wow.
So that means on your Android it would say that
It
one
would
sold for
show-
$20.
Right.
And the other thing that's tricky about that is that's an optic, so it really throws everything off. That's like the Chrome version of it, right?
Okay.
So another way to search that I don't know if people do, you just go up here and you put up minus optic. So now you're just gonna get, I don't know what that's about.
So you wouldn't
oh,
sell-
that's a PSA 10.
You wouldn't sell like really common cards on eBay because there's just so many of them.
If you wanted to get practice, go ahead. But from a standpoint of profit and time, I think you're gonna go drive yourself crazy.
I wouldn't do cards under $10.
Yeah, I would think cards that sell for $10 or more are worth it to do on eBay. That sell for $10, not what Beckett says or what what they're listed for.
So like look at the last sold. See, ones usually go for $14, $15.
Yeah.
Maybe worth $30 throw it on there.
Absolutely. And then also, it's not bad to search how many of that card are on eBay. That Trae Young, I mean, I don't know what the
It'll
number
tell
is.
you how many searches
It
or
will
how
if
many items were on there.
Yeah, it will if you go on like a desktop. I won't tell you that.
83 results.
Yeah, this says 83 on the bottom.
Oh, on the bottom it tells you, that's right. 83.
Okay.
There's 83 that's sold. Let's see how many are
In
listed.
the last 90 days, it's almost one a day.
There's 68 that are listed
For buy it now.
for buy it now. Let's do all listings. So on eBay right now, there's 86 of your Trae Youngs.
Is that good or bad?
Probably bad. Yeah, right. Because it's just too many of them. Now, if Donruss had just come out and you had the first one, you might get $15-20 for that card, but you're gonna have to sell it quick. So, all right. I know we've gone late. Sorry, guys. Questions. Are you all ready to make a lot of money on eBay, huh?
Like packaging. So
Away from the next class.
so usually when you package a card in a top loader,
Yeah.
you put like a little tape on there.
Yeah.
Like
Do you want to grab a few things and you can show people, Mary? Here, I mean, it's got it right here. Okay, here's a quick tidbit. Never send a graded card in like this. You just send it. If you do, you know what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? It's gonna snap or crack. This happens all the time. How do you send a graded card in an envelope like this? We usually put cardboard. We put cards on each side of this, and then we put like a little bubble mailer on top. When you seal it like that, it creates a little bit more distance off of it.
okay.
And now you have a barrier on that as well as the top too, so it can't
So
crush.
just like actual cards, you just put on
I
both
take base
sides?
cards. Yeah. Take old '90s baseball cards. That they have a great purpose for shipping.
And that's enough
Yeah,
to
I remember that.
keep
I've been
straight.
using.
That's
Are those,
enough
are those
to
flat rate packages? Is that what that is?
This is a first class mail. This is a bubble mailer. It's first class mail. So something like this, I might take. Prism's a great card stock. You got a bunch of extra base of this. Maybe would you do that? What would you do?
Yeah, or.
So I gave you some good ideas. So I would do that and then put a little. Now, if this was a very expensive graded card, I might ship it in a priority mail flat rate box, which are $7 to ship. They're little boxes. They make a lot more sense to me. Here, you show them. I'll go grab the box.
Or you can, you know how you get these out of packs, you know, save every one that you get, and then put one on each side, like that. Very rarely will anything get, like around here, get damaged. I don't think that's really maybe ever happened, maybe less than 5 times since we've done it.
What damage?
Yeah, so you
Yeah,
put
rarely.
it in here, like that.
you tape it around, or because you have to just move it around.
Nope, just put it in, and then you put one of these in. And you said, Jamil, you put one of these in every one of them because
Oh,
when it scans too.
yeah. So we put the bubble mail. These little like things. You can get these anywhere, right? You don't have to use just this, but on top, what it does is it creates like a little bit of a barrier and it makes it more. It treats it as a package, not a flat. So sometimes the rollers that I've
No
learned,
matter.
they go through like these massive rollers, and you don't want an envelope doing that. You want it to go in like a bag, right? That's not being sorted that way, going in these massive bags. So the more and more you do of these, you create a little bit of girth. I don't know what the word is. Brian Regan, right? Girth units. You create a little bit of space there, right? It'll just help with, I think, when you go to ship this stuff. But just one last quick thing. This is a hidden treasure people don't know about. It's called regional rate boxes. Let's say on that order, that guy was from Tampa, and let's say it was for $100. I could ship this to him, and let's say he bought a bunch of cards for about
$7.65.
$7.
Anywhere in Florida or
So
Georgia.
there's actual regional rates in priority mail that people don't know about. And you can send them, if you send cards southeast, northeast, stuff like that, save a lot more money. $3, $4, $5, $6 on shipping sometimes.
You can't get these though at the post office.
You have to order them, yeah.
online. But they're free.
They're free.
Everything's free.
USPS.com is a great resource for that. So, yeah, if you ever want them, we sell them here for 35 cents, but you can also buy them in bulk, but we sell these for 35 cents. I think the store they're 50 cents. Deals. Left and right.
Deals.
So, I think that's it. It's a wrap. Appreciate you guys. Hopefully you learned a little bit.
Yeah.
Got free packs.
The 35 to 64 is crazy because that seems like right when eBay started was in '96, and it still
Yeah.
kept that generation.
Isn't that funny?
I mean, do they have the same kind of thing on Amazon as well? I mean, does Amazon have the same kind of auctioning as eBay does?
This is where take it
No,
there.
still asleep.
I don't know, man. Amazon has it just simply you can.
Brand new only.
Yeah, but Amazon you can also because you can list cards that are used. But Amazon has a feature now where you can make offers.
While I'm here, I need to grab a card out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
1 second, TJ. Let me turn this
You're
off.
good.
On eBay?
I did.
Ooh.